The next category of Flash preferences we're going to have a look at is auto format. These preferences simply affect the appearance of your action script. They don't change the functionality of it at all. They only change the way it looks. And if you are familiar with ActionScript, or one of any number of other scripting languages, you probably know that different people have their own favorite way of formatting their script. It all works the same, but they have their own preferences. And this is where these preferences come in. Again, if you haven't used any action scripting or any other scripting language before, don't worry too much if this doesn't make sense. As I mentioned in the last lesson, go through to the later section of the course on action scripting, and then pop back here and have another look. So let's have a look at what these do now. Macromedia was nice enough to put a little preview window in here for us, so we can immediately see how these preferences affect the appearance of our action script without having to close the window and go back to the Actions panel. So let's try insert left curly bracket on the line after if, for, switch, while, etc. Let's turn it on, see what it does. What's changed? Well, we have an if and an else statement here, and what's changed is the curly bracket after it. Instead of including the curly bracket on the same line as the if, that's this one here, it's going to move it to the next line. Depending on your personal preferences, this can make it a little bit easier to read. Got if on one line and the condition, and the curly brackets and the contents are here. Same thing happens with the else statement. Else is on one line, and then the brackets and contents are separate. The next option is very similar, but it works on functions, classes, and interface keywords. It simply moves this curly bracket to the next line. And there we go. The third one says don't cuddle the right curly bracket and the else statement. As you can see here, we have an if statement here, and if that statement's not true, Flash will go to the else statement, which is here. Let's turn this on, and it simply moves the else statement off of this line onto the next one. This is how I personally prefer to write my code, so I'll leave this here. It separates the if from the else and makes it easier for me to read. Again, this is personal, so you may not want to turn this on. The next one I leave on as well. Insert space after function name in function calls. Well, we have a function call here and here, and the function name of this one is f. And this will simply put a space in here and here. Again, I like this, so I'm going to leave this turned on. And finally, insert spaces around operators. Operators are comparison operators or mathematical operators, like this one, x minus 1, x times f, if x is less than or equal to 0. Turning this on, we'll add spaces here, and so on. And to my eye, make this a little bit easier to read. So again, I'm going to leave these on. And that's it for the auto format category of Flash preferences.